Good evening and welcome to the City Council regular meeting for Tuesday. Just a minute, I got a little thing here. May 19th, 2026. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome those here and those also on TV this evening on cable. Is there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Just, Mayor, two minor adjustments. We're going to have item 3B lead the way under presentations, the MBTA presentation. Flip that with item 3A. And then just to flag, if residents looked at the agenda on Friday, we did not have item 6H posted. That was added on Monday, which is our police captain position. So as of Monday, that was added, but just wanted to doubly flag that for tonight.
Alrighty. So I'll move the agenda with the flipping of items 3A and B and the addition of 6H, the police captain job description. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have an agenda. First item up, presentations and proclamations. As just noted, 3B, Minnesota Valley Transit Authority presentation. And I look to Logan.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Mayor, members of council. We can invite Luther Widener, the executive director of MBTA, up to the podium. I know Councilmember Essler is our council liaison to MBTA if he wants to add any words either now or later, but we always appreciate having Mr. Widener come and give us an update on MBTA's progress for the year.
We'll see. We'll see how they do first.
Do my best.
There you go.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Luther Winder, CEO for Minnesota Valley Transit Authority. Been with the agency now since 2016, and I'm here to give a city update. If you can't hear me, please let me know. I'll try to adjust the microphone accordingly. A few things on agenda today. Really give an overview about ridership effective for Rosemount. We'll talk about our different types of services, from fixed route to our connect services. We'll also do some service analysis, talk about what we're doing from a service standpoint in the community, as well as do some wrap up with the legislature, some things we had to the legislature this session. So I always like to start the presentation with just the standard slide because I always understand not everyone's familiar with what we do here at the Minnesota Valley Transit Authority. Overall, we serve 7 cities here in the South Metro. We have, as you see here, we have about 24 fixed routes. And those fixed routes are obviously our buses that stop at the bus stops. We also have, from that standpoint, we also have our on-demand service, which is our MBTA Connect. Our MBTA Connect, now we serve all 7 cities in our service area. That's our app-based service that picks people up and takes them to point A to point B. You'll kind of see that our Connect bus is the first picture, and our fixed route services is our second bus type there. And we'll first talk about, we also have event services like our former sporting events, concerts, state fair, and Renaissance Festival, which I'll get to a little bit later. Service directly related to Rosemount. So what we do, we've got the 472 and the 484, as well as the Route 420. First starting out, the Route 420, since my last presentation, just want to make everyone aware, that route does now serve DCTC. The Route 484, the service that serves Minneapolis, there was some conversations. We looked at that route and there's some issue with productivity there. We talked to the residents of Rosemount, and what we've decided to do with that, we were still looking to limit that route, but in our conversation with individuals who utilized it, we're expanding and actually adding a 480R, which is our current 480 service, another pattern, which will serve those same customers from Monday through Thursday. It's actually their opinion they didn't need the service on Friday because they normally work from home on those days. So we're going to have a new service for them that does that same service footprint from Monday through Thursday. Right now on the 484, they have that service 2 times a day. Based on the time that we got from those riders, they only need to service once. So they have one trip, one round trip each day on that new service. From a ridership standpoint, and feel free to stop me either during the presentation, but there'll be time obviously at the end for our questions as well too. For 2025, looking at from 2024-25, we were up 7.8% in ridership. The national average nationally is about 7%. So we were above the national average when it came to ridership growth for our service. Really buoyed by our express service, as you see, up almost over 10% year over year. Our local service was down about as you see, a slight percentage of decrease in local service, but that's really related to the fact that we reduced local service by about 10 to 15% last year. So to see that level of that small decrease, let us know we're right on the right page of trying to right sizing where we're at as far as local service that we provide. And transitional services to connect. When you look at, now, I like to always highlight this. So as you see, as an agency, our ridership was up 7.8%. But the great city of Rosemount, you guys are up 32% year over year. So thank you. Okay, we definitely do appreciate that. What we continue to see is in this particular city, we continue to see this amazing growth when it comes to service. Regardless of what we see in the 484, as you look, we drill down to it, as you see, Connect service is up 37%. The Route 420, now that we do serve DCTC, went up 24%. Also the good work of our marketing and engagement team led by Joy and Matt. As well as you see an increase in our 472. The 484 was a slight increase, but not enough, obviously, for us to make that modification. And you'll get information in the future when I talk about the 480 that'll be replacing that service. When it comes to our Connect, as we have, right now we have 3 zones. Used to only be 2, but there's 3 zones now. We have our Egan zone, we have our Prior Lake and Shakopee zone, we have our main zone. Rosemount, since we started service in 2019, Rosemont's always been served by our Connect service. Always important to talk about what that service is to make sure people understand that it's $3 each way. It provides free transfers to individuals if they want to use our fixed route services. We do accept cash on the bus as well as go-to cards, as well as one thing I always want to point out too for customers, that it also takes walk-ups. So it's an app-based service. If they see a Connect bus at a park and ride, whether it be at RTS or at AVTS, they're able to walk up to the vehicle and request a ride with the driver, and the driver will call and dispatch and perform that trip. So that option is also there too when they see the vehicle. Hours of operation for that service are Monday through Friday, actually 7 days a week, from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. A little bit about the population who utilize our Connect service. Important note that about 65% of the customers utilize that service used to go to and from work. That's one of the reasons why I think myself and staff are really protective about that. This book of business, trying to put the best service out possible, because that's a dependency issue because of where they're going, which is work. There's always been talk about, there's always this push-pull about, is Connect microtransit? Are we cutting into or redefining what Uber and Lyft do? We always want to make sure you point out that when you look at it, 49% of the customers say that if they didn't have Connect, they would use or try to use Uber and Lyft. But then when you get down to that very next bullet, almost 50% of our customers have an annual use Connect, have an annual household income of less than $25,000. So when you think about a work trip, the average Uber and Lyft trip is about $20 to $30 when we did the analysis back in 2019 in our service area related. Think about that 2 times a day going to work on an income less than $25,000. It's not financially possible. That's why Connect forms a public need. Obviously, it serves the people who need it. And in places like this, in communities where we necessarily don't have great bus service, or we don't have the density for that bus service, this is the perfect service mix to make sure we get people to where they need to get to and go. When you look at the rider mix, 47% of riders are individuals of color. 60% of our riders are women. Now, when we first started the service, it was 50-50. 50% men, 50% women. But over time, they've overtaken us. So I say, and we're trying our best. I'll see you when I talk on this next year, a few months from now. But right now, we're endangered. But 6% women, 25% of riders report have a disability or a long-term health condition, which is really important. And when you think about the sweet spot of what we see as far as the riding public, you see about 46% of these individuals are 35 to 54, which is about that working age. We're continuing about different bus types and promotion to make sure we let the individuals know below 35 that this is not a senior bus. It's actually a bus that anyone can take. And that's always been the impediment to get those younger employees to utilize that Connect service, because they don't see it's for them. They think it's an elderly or disabled vehicle, but it's open to the public. Always want to make sure we spread that and communicate that accordingly. When it comes to Connect ridership, continuing to see, continue to have record-breaking years. When you look at from 37% from 2024 to 2025, we continue to see hit in our main zone. Daily rides right now is about 389. This is about a month old. we're over 400 trips now on a daily ridership when it comes to in our main zone. Average wait time, and this was about 27 minutes. We actually shifted some resources from a couple zones from vehicles into our main zone. We brought that wait time to under 25 minutes. Our goal for Connect is to have a pickup between 20 to 25 minutes. Anytime we get above 25 minutes, we start to see we believe a degradation of the service, where no one wants to sit down and wait for 30 minutes for a bus. You see cancellations, it becomes less reliable for individuals. So when we start seeing it creep up, we try to add more vehicles, we shift to align different resources in order to try to bring that back down, and that's what we've been doing. We have five buses on order, I think. 3. Oh yeah, and I have a board meeting in a couple of weeks, and I'll be talking to my board about procuring the 5 additional vehicles. But we'll see. So we don't have those just yet, but we do have 3 on order right now. No pressure though. No pressure. But that would be the reason why, as we continue to see the growth. So just to focus to highlight some of the service plans that we have for 2026 to bring it current. I did talk about the 484, obviously in the transition to the new Route 480. We also have the 472. That service will be replaced by the 470. So same exact service. Actually, replacing the 482 with the 470 actually will give the customers more trips. One of the things that the team has done a really good job of is tabling and talking to the customers. So when we put these service plans together, it really relates to, and that's Joya, because she literally gives me on a finite detail of exactly what the riders have said. Really, we try to take that and nuance that, but we see we're able to do from a service standpoint. So our goal was we wanted to make sure if we replace service, we either get some comparable back or give other alternatives. And actually, in this sense, we're staying to 470 with about the same level of service with actually more trips. Also serve Minneapolis. Let's round out and talk about event service. This is pretty standard. We'll continue to do that. We also have 2 zones. We have individuals that go from Apple Valley and Burnsville, which is probably what we'll see from most of our Rosemount customers, as well as from Eagan and Shakopee as well too. It's $6 each way. We're continuing this year as we go into the summer months. We will be doing Leprechaun Days. It's important to talk about that. We will be running service for that for Rosemount. We do have a couple of concerts planned for a concert series coming up. Go for Football as that reinitiates in Vikings. We'll definitely have service this year associated. And as we get to the end of summer, which we don't want to talk about just yet because we're just starting summer, we'll be starting our Renaissance service as well as our State Fair. And once State Fair is over, we also understand a warm temperature sometimes is over too, but we'll hold off on that one. We are looking for this year for just as adjacent to Rosemount. For State Fair service, we're researching potentially running service from Apple Valley, so stay tuned. This will be the first time we've ever added service to Apple Valley for State Fair service, so we're doing some costing and looking, especially with some of the issues we have with traffic on the Burnsville side. We might be looking to have you add some. It would be Monday through Friday weekday service here in adjacent to Apple Valley, but more information to come on that. Rounding out just with the legislature. Just want to say, I think everyone's probably aware now at this point, there was no transportation bill passed. There was some discussion early in the legislature. There was a House file for 4111. Like I said, normally you call 411 when you need help. We didn't ask for this help, but I think Representative Kosnick and some others felt like we did. And that help was to eliminate suburban transit and put us all under Met Council. And that was really done by when we drew down to it. First thing was submitted was what we'd like to see was a report, and I'll kind of move on to the next one, which related to there was a bipartisan. I don't say that. There were 2 legislators on the particular bill, Representative Kosnick and Representative Cagle, who were sponsoring that legislation. It would have taken away the ability for this bipartisan, the MBTA board is a bipartisan board that makes decisions on behalf of MBTA, for representation of the 7 cities and 2 counties in which we serve. It would have taken that away and obviously guaranteed service for 1 year, and then obviously put that service under Met Council. One of our biggest concerns with that, and I think the community's seen that well too, that was going to include, it would have led to service reductions, higher fares, and I'll explain why the higher fares are so important and actually less reliable service. local service for us. Now, as you've seen, we've always eliminated local service. We always refine service based on ridership. Local service, because of the density issues that we do have here, we're not as dense. We're all struggling to maintain cost and balance with ridership. But also local service depends upon individuals who actually get ADA Metro Mobility. That you only receive Metro Mobility entitled that if you're 3/4 miles around local fixed route. That's the only qualifier for it. So we're also sensitive to when we make modifications to our local service, are we affecting individuals who are most vulnerable, which are the disabled population? So we also try to balance that out. What we would see if this bill were to be enacted, they would have eliminated more of our suburban local service and replace that with TransitLink. Now, we all understand, for the most part, TransitLink is a service, it's available service in our service area, but there's always been concerns about, obviously, its availability as well as its cost. Our current local bus service costs $2 each way for customers. TransitLink is $3.50. That's the base. And if you go during the peak, it's $4.50. If you go over 15 miles at a 75-cent kicker to that. So it would have cost customers more. They have to book a day in advance, and it would have been less reliable. So our goal was to maintain and also with that being said too, individuals who had access to Metro Mobility services would lose that. So our goal was to maintain our current, obviously, service footprint, but also make sure we communicate to customers as well as to the riding public and legislature as well, that we always modify and look at service accordingly. The report they used was a snapshot in time from 2024 and 2023, right out of the pandemic, and really didn't encapsulate what we were doing as an agency. Also, too, there were some claims that were made in that particular report. There were some, I would say, they were fanciful and wildful claims, and I'll be honest about that, of $50 million or $25 million in savings. Text of the bill, it was $723,000 was the actual savings. That was in the header of the bill. Everything else was assumptions that I couldn't even understand how they got some of the assumptions. Some of it was taking away existing service from Metro Transit. Well, they can do that now without the bill. Shouldn't be codified with that. And other assumptions about bus replacement that we weren't replacing. So even the numbers they talked about as far as savings weren't accurate, and really we're just kind of setting the stage from what we know to be just a preconceived notion of where they want to get to, but didn't represent where service was. At the end result of that, I think due to the hard work of the team, as well as our communication with STA, all the individuals here, whether it be the city, the Dakota County Chamber of Commerce, thank you, Dakota Chamber of Commerce, all Chamber of Commerce, the businesses accordingly, really message and communicate to legislators, and that didn't go any further. It did pass the House Transportation Committee. It was laid over to the Tax Committee, but that was never taken up. And at the end of the session, nothing on transportation was passed, and there really was no more conversation about that either. Just to round out, when we just talk about MVT as a whole, there's always this conversation we go into legislatures, just in general, to talk about, suburban transit only does, 5% of the rides. But it's important to note that our 7 cities that we serve at MVTA represent over 10% of the population in the metro region. So, there's 108 cities, I think, give or take, in the metro region. My 7 that I serve, I'm proud to serve, we were all proud to serve, account for over 10% of the population. So this isn't just, these aren't small cities. There's representation does matter. From a system-wide ridership perspective, we're higher than national average when it comes to ridership. We have a 93% customer satisfaction rating, and we're hoping that with some of these changes and some of the things we're doing, like the electrification that will be completed this summer at Rosemount Transit Station, we'll continue to see that number bump up. As well as our local forward initiatives, we're trying to make sure we continue to not only invest back in the community, but also be responsive to the community needs. And that starts not only with talking to the customers, also hearing what you guys are looking to see in the future as well, too. And with that, some support letters that we received. And I'll take any questions.
Thank you. I'll open it up to questions from council. Any comments?
I've got comments.
I've got comments.
Okay.
Just one quick comment. I just want to say I'm always recommending MVTA Connect to residents, and I have a coworker even who relied on it during a very cold winter where they didn't have a car. And so it's a really cool service, very economical, and just really for anyone who does need that kind of microtransit option. So I think that's been a very good addition to the MVTA kind of arsenal of tools that you guys have in the mix, and definitely something that I find myself recommending to residents. So. Thank you for highlighting it.
Paul?
Yeah, turn your mic on.
Yeah, and I just wanted to follow, I wanted to kind of let you do your spiel before I made a comment, but I've been on the board for the last 4 years. Also the secretary treasurer. Nobody really competes for that job. I'm the only one that is happy to take it. But I've really enjoyed my time. It's an incredible group of people. I think, one thing, he mentioned, the issue we had where they were trying to consolidate all the Metro Transit under one umbrella. And I think what that would have lost is we really lose the advocacy in the communities that we serve. You mentioned the 7 cities, the 2 counties, Scott County and Dakota County, and the 7 communities that you primarily serve. And you would just lose that. I think Joya, who's out in the crowd here, Joya has done a tremendous job with outreach. She shares examples all the time of one-on-one conversations she has. She shared with me, conversations specifically with Rosemount residents that have kind of really influenced what service we kept intact and we improved. And it's amazing to see just that boots on the ground advocacy, and we would definitely lose that if you consolidate it all together. So we're pretty happy that didn't go anywhere, because I think we would really lose that. But as I've gotten to know the team over the past 4 years, just the passion that they all have for the service they provide to the communities in which we serve, it's a joy to have conversations with them. They're very passionate about it. Very creative. They've won a ton of awards, national level awards. I would say I'd put MVTA against any other metro system in the country. Based on some of the awards that you guys have won. They continue to be creative. There are, you mentioned the Uber Lyft, challenge with that. There's opportunities there. You guys are looking at that. I think we're going to maybe hear about that at the board level this month. Yes. Potential opportunity to look into something about that. The marketing, you guys have done a tremendous job with marketing. Again, local community events, Leprechaun Days, Haunted Trail. That's just in Rosemount, but all the other community events, all the concerts, you guys have done a tremendous job. Just really, getting MVTA's name on the map in a very big way. And I would say too, it's been really fun to watch post COVID. I joined the board right during COVID, and to watch what the numbers had done, obviously with less transit needs because we're working from home. But as that started to come back, just to see the numbers continue to climb, and again, compared to, as you pointed out, compared to the national average, you guys are doing really, really well. So just a great organization to be part of. I really enjoy the time that I get to spend with the staff, and you guys do a tremendous amount of work and very big service to our community for sure. So thank you.
Thank you for that. I also just want to highlight too, one of the things I think that also came from this conversation, we have the legislature as well, that there is now a transit sales tax, and that sales tax is obviously taxed. That 0.75% is taxed to everyone in the region. And it's important to note that as we've engaged in that, one conversation is about property taxes kind of going away. Should the model change? Well, that's now customers kind of see that. Residents see that sales tax in every good that they buy, and they do expect some level of transportation in transit. Our goal is to make sure we want to make sure that when they see that, we're in the community saying that there's a value associated with that. Mm-hmm. If you were to roll us up, obviously, you kind of lose that. And that's what you do hear from some of my neighboring cities who aren't served by suburban, they aren't served well by, they don't have a suburban transit provider. So we do try our best to make sure we simplify what we see from a funding mechanism perspective. And I do have a great team, and thank you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was just going to add, since I joined council, I remember, I mean, it was right after COVID and the numbers were just like in the ground. And I was just like, I don't know how that you're going to be able to maintain this. And what I've seen since then is not only the numbers go up, but the creativity, like you said, partnering with a lot of our local, Leprechaun Days and Halloween Trail and all the different things that we do here. It's great to see those numbers now going up, and then also getting creative on new ways to just serving the community and then the advocacy for the residents of Rosemount. So thank you.
Anything? I would just go ahead and echo those similar comments, having ridden the bus, being one of the first 4 riders when service was established here. So we started with 4 people, and it grew. COVID kind of slapped us down a little bit, but I really do appreciate comments that have been stated here on that innovation and that local service, because I think you can kind of see that with the Connect. It's not just that trip that gets you down to Minneapolis. It's locally here, and certainly for our local technical college, DCTC, having that service out there, tremendous help to the students that are out there as well. So thank you, and appreciate your presentation this evening.
Thank you.
All right, so that
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
that'll conclude item 3B. We'll be just accepting that presentation as presented. We'll move back to, are we ready for, all right, for 3A, the Rosemount Just Serve City Award. Mr. Martin.
Thanks, members of the council. Yeah, come on up, folks. We did the last council meeting. The council proclaimed Rosemount as a Just Serve community, and now Jackie and her team from Just Serve is here to kind of formalize it and give the city its official award as a Just Serve city. So I'll turn it over to you guys.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor Wesensthal and the members of the council. My name is Jackie Mayer. I'm a representative from Just Serve, and I'm thrilled to be here tonight to present to you the 2026 Just Serve City Award to the city of Rosemount, Minnesota. This award recognizes cities that go above and beyond in fostering a culture of service, collaboration, and community-driven change. The city of Rosemount has demonstrated an incredible commitment to volunteerism. By partnering with Just Serve, this city has bridged the gap between nonprofits and residents, making it easier for people to lend a hand to their neighbors. Your efforts have strengthened your community and connected people from all backgrounds and ages. This award belongs to the countless residents who have given their time and their talents, as well as the city staff who have worked hard to champion these opportunities. Mayor, please accept this award as a symbol of our appreciation for the leadership in making Rosemount a shining example of the community-oriented, service-oriented community. Congratulations.
All right, go up there. Also joining me as well, because in our community, volunteerism is a huge deal, and we make a big deal about this. So a lot of different areas, a lot of different communities within our community that take part in this.
Let's split the group a little bit so we can see the Rosemount sign.
Yeah.
Nice.
Or go this way?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Maybe while you're taking a seat, I just wanted to, I'm Jennifer Thayer from Just Serve Minnesota, so I oversee all the Just Serve that's happening in Minnesota. Just Serve is a global volunteer movement, and we're so glad to have Rosemount join the Just Serve City numbers. But I wanted to let you know that if you have any plans for America 250
in serving, and I'm sure you're aware of the America Gives initiative within America 250. So JUSTSERVE is a program partner with that, and so we are hyping up this year of the greatest number of service hours in American history, and so we would love to help you in any of your planning or events that you have relating to America 250, as we're a program partner, and we're excited to make this the biggest year of service in forever. So happy birthday, America 250, and we're going to serve. So.
And could you share, so residents may not understand, but this is kind of a database that they can get into both locally here, but if they travel, they can find volunteer opportunities. And could you share that website?
Yeah, so it's a volunteer movement, JUSTSERVE is, but we also, as part of that movement, we offer a website and an app. And you, when you register, it has a couple cool features. First, you can just type in your zip code, and wherever you are, opportunities will pop up, and you can change the radius to however far you want to go. You can create a profile that says I like to do certain things, and it'll all pull it up. The nice thing is that the app is free as well, and it will adjust to where you are. So when you're vacationing in Florida and you're feeling like I need to do some service, you can pull it out. And we love that the opportunities just fill, and you actually start scrolling. And we call it service scrolling instead of doom scrolling. And we love to see those opportunities. And we're also in 17 countries. And you're joining a big family of service-oriented people. And I don't know if you knew that Minnesota's doing really well with this, and Rochester was named a global JUSTSERVE city. And so you have the opportunity to work towards that too. And we hope that you will. So did I answer your question?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
And also our volunteer coordinator, Diane Erickson, is familiar with JUSTSERVE organization, and so she can be reached out to as well from our staff. So that completes item 3A, accepting that presentation. We'll move to 3C, Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting Award.
Yeah. Nice.
Good to see me again. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. We were here last fall presenting the results from the 2024 audit. This evening, we bring you our 29th consecutive award from the Government Finance Officers Association. It is the Certificate for Excellence in Financial Reporting, which is really exciting for us. 29th year in a row. The finance staff has continued their great work, which allows us to continue receiving this award. We're very thankful and grateful for all the hard work that staff does and the city does within council support that we have. The highest recognition in governmental accounting and financial reporting. So just thank staff for that, and that's all we have.
Any comments from council here?
Yeah, I think congratulations. I know you might say it's 29 years in a row, but it's still a lot of hard work and heavy lift from you and your team. So thanks.
It is.
Yep. Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Al.
It seems simple, the award and everything, but there is an awful lot of work that goes behind this. Yeah. And it comes through the culmination of auditing, which takes a lot of staff time. Also, I believe you've gone through a lot of changing, updating in our books, and so it's been an awful lot of work for your staff. So very well deserved to continue that consecutive streak even through all this change.
Yeah, and this is one of those items that isn't, the highlight of. Sometimes people don't put as much attention unless things go wrong, right?
Right.
And so,
absolutely.
So it's just as important to just pause for a second and say congratulations to you, your staff, and the time and effort that you do above and beyond, what is a normal work day. So we appreciate you as a council for sure. So thanks.
Thank you.
That completes item 3C on its acknowledgement. We'll go ahead with the 3D, Proclamation of the National Public Works Week 2026. Mr. Egger.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I'm here tonight to take a moment to pay tribute to our team, our Public Works team that is, and to notate that this is now the 66th year that National Public Works Week, which as sponsored by the American Public Works Association, is being celebrated across North America. 2026, the theme is Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, and shines a spotlight on how public works professionals form the backbone of daily life in our communities. But I really wanted to talk about the folks that are on the screen there. That is our team, our most recent team photo that we took last fall on top of our wonderful new building. It's the team that makes it all happen, and daily life wouldn't be what it is without them. They are the folks, they're a big reason why 92% of the residents who responded to the city survey recently said that quality of life here in Rosemount is good or excellent. It's a huge part of that. They're plowing, sweeping, and keeping the streets in good condition. They're keeping water meeting the state regulations and flowing to your home all hours of the day and night, making sure wastewater sewers carry wastewater away from your property and to treatment facilities. They're watching over developers' projects, so they're building high-quality infrastructure that the city and its residents inherit at the end of the day and that we take care of. They're planning complex and impactful infrastructure projects, ensuring that we're meeting surface water regulations through management of our stormwater permit program, keeping our parks clean, playgrounds safe, and public landscape areas looking beautiful, answering the call to so many other unique infrastructure problems along with all that. So to recognize and pay tribute to that team, I am requesting that the council read and adopt a proclamation for this year's National Public Works Week. I'll turn it back to you, Mayor.
All right. We'll go ahead and read the proclamation followed by the adoption.
Whereas the year 2026 marks the 66th Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, and is being celebrated May 17th through the 23rd of 2006, and
whereas the 2026 theme, Rooted in Service, Powered by Community, highlights the essential role public works professionals play in connecting people, supporting neighborhoods, and strengthening the foundation of a thriving and resilient city of Rosemount, and
whereas public works, infrastructure, facilities, and services, including transportation systems, water and wastewater utilities, stormwater management, parks, and public buildings are vital to the health, safety, and quality of life of our 30,000 plus residents and to the success of our hundreds of businesses. And
whereas these critical services are made possible by dedicated public works professionals, including engineers, operators, technicians, maintenance crews, and support staff, who serve as first responders and who build, maintain, and protect the systems our community depends on every day. And
whereas the Public Works Department of the City of Rosemount is deeply rooted in a tradition of service and is powered by strong partnerships with residents, businesses, and community organizations, working together to enhance sustainability, resilience, and the overall well-being of our city. And now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the City Council of the City of Rosemount, do hereby proclaim the week of May 17th to the 23rd, 2026 as National Public Works Week, and we urge all residents to join us in recognizing and thanking our city's team of 30 public works professionals for their dedication, service, and lasting contributions to our community. Dated this 19th day of May 2026, signed Jeffrey D. Weisensell, Mayor. And with that, we'll move to adopt that proclamation. Is there a second?
second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You are so proclaimed. I will give you an opportunity. I notice we have some of your team individuals actually listed in the background. Would you like to share their names?
It is a long list. I can certainly do that. Yes, Mayor, thank you for that suggestion. It's alphabetical by last name here. I'll read them off, though, as they are in the memo. It's Eric Bangerter, Tor Brooklyn, Brian Bodsberg, Tony Braun, Jane Byron, Hunter Confair, John Cusack, Jason Dowell, myself, Brian Erickson, Charlie Fredericks, Michael Hansen, Doug Holzer, Denver Jacobson, Chuck Jacobus, Riley Kaczynski, AJ Corpola, James LaCour, Brent McGraw, Kyle Morris, Bill Murphy, Stephen Nielsen, Ryan Roush, Travis Roshan, Brady Schmidt, Amy Simonson, Toby Betch, and Joe Worden.
Thank you.
That's the team. Thank you very much. Just real last comment here. I did want to point out that we have worked with our communications team to promote this all week long on social media. You'll see a variety of different things that facts and figures and little quizzes and some highlights of the types of work they do. That one hit yesterday. It was really well put together. So we're kind of juicing it up this year in terms of that, getting that exposure for the group. And lastly, all of you are invited to our celebratory lunch on Thursday at lunchtime at our campus.
Yeah.
So.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I noticed the video right away, and I think you guys started that last year, where you show each different department doing little things. I just think that's a great way to highlight all the different things that you do to help keep normal possible, as your motto is. But a lot of things that are done behind the scenes to make sure that swing sets are in shape and all these other things. So it was well done too. Yeah, nice job with communication. So
Thank you.
Comments? Otherwise, that'll complete item 3D. Public Works Week is proclaimed. We'll move on to item 3E, the Flint Hills Community Advisory Council presentation. I'm looking to Adam.
Yep, thank you, Mayor. I'd like to invite up and introduce folks from the Flint Hills Resources Pine Bend Refinery Community Advisory Council to do a little presentation on their group and provide some comments to the City Council. So I'll turn that over to Mr. Kevin Carroll.
Mr. Mayor and council members, my name is Kevin Carroll. For the last 40 years, I've happily resided at 3325 147th Street in Rosemount with my wife and kids. With me today is David Surasaki. We are both community representatives on the Flint Hills Community Advisory Council. I'll call it CAC for short. We were happy to see a volunteerism topic on the agenda today because that's essentially why we're here. We're seeking your assistance in finding some additional volunteers to serve on the Community Advisory Council. I could take a lot of time to tell you about the history of the organization. All of you are familiar with the refinery. Many of you may be familiar with the CAC. It was formed 30 years ago. I was present for some of that. In 1996, I was starting a 4-year term on the Rosemount City Council. That was the time during which the formation of the CIC was discussed and implemented. The CIC has about 20 community representatives representing the various cities and townships that are within this area. The number of community representatives varies depending on the proximity to the refinery and the population of the city. There are 2 cities that have 4 representatives. Rosemount is one of them. I've been on the CIC for 3 years now. During that entire time, I've been the only Rosemount representative. So Rosemount has been underrepresented on the CIC. And we would like to change that, in part because Rosemount is the home of the refinery. I would like to say that, like many people, I joined this organization for both selfish and unselfish reasons. I wanted to serve my community. It's been a long time since I've had any type of position in which I was representing the interests of my fellow residents in Rosemount. The selfish reasons, frankly, I wanted to learn more about this major employer and major industry in our city. I've driven by it a zillion times, as all of you have, but I didn't know all that much about how it operated, and I wanted to learn more. I mention that because if you have friends or relatives or neighbors who are interested in learning more about this industry and this business in particular, this would be an excellent opportunity to do that. The CIC meets 9 or 10 times a year. The meetings are typically 2.5 to 3 hours. We take the summer off, sort of like teachers, so we don't have to schedule around vacations and trips and things like that. So it's not a huge time commitment, but for those who want to do more, there are opportunities to serve on committees. David and I serve on the member selection committee, which is why we're here today. There's a development committee. If you want to go to fairs and festivals and sit at a table and talk about the CAC, there are opportunities to do that. We're especially interested in trying to create a more diverse CAC. Right now, we are kind of overrepresented in what I call the OWG category, which is old white guys like me. So if you know of anybody who is not in that category, we could certainly use more of those. I have found in the couple of years that I've been on the group that the membership tends to gravitate toward people that have already been employed in like the energy industry. We have some former educators and school board members, quite a few engineers, people that are interested in government. We'll take applications from anybody, frankly. And if you just Google Flint Hills Community Advisory Council, you'll be taken to a spot where there's an online application, or people can call me. I'd be happy to tell them about what serving on the CAC is like, 651-983-6384, or you can reach me through your city administrator. There's multiple ways to get more information about what we do and how we operate. We're kind of active in the member recruitment right now because May and June are the main times for us to do that. When people apply, they have to be interviewed. We have to make a decision. There are background checks, that type of thing. That takes time, but we want to have people on board when the meetings kick back into gear at the end of the summer. So this is the ideal time for people to apply. It's a very user-friendly process. It's not a complicated application. I've really enjoyed serving on it. I've learned a lot. Every meeting is composed of opportunities for Flint Hills staff members to talk about various aspects of their operation. We've seen the Emergency Operations Center. We've learned more about the industry itself. Some of my friends and neighbors and relatives have learned that I served on this group, and I think I see my role, we see our role as conduits for information. We convey information from our community to Flint Hills that we think they might be interested in. If our neighbors have questions, we can get answers to those. And Flint Hills gets input from the people in their service area. So it's a mutually beneficial type of arrangement, and it's a lot of fun. And for the evening meetings, they give you a free dinner. So that's something. So I'll turn it over to David now. He may have some comments also.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I'm a 30-year resident of Apple Valley, and I've been on the committee now, or the council, for starting my 4th year, or 2nd term. I am one of the ones, not the typical old white guy, but I am an engineer by trade, and I worked in the energy industry for 30 years. So one of the reasons I got involved is because I know how important it is for a refinery or a large industrial operation to be a good citizen. And it was something for me to get involved with and learn what they do and how they do it. But I think it's a great thing for someone to be involved with, not only, as Kevin said, to learn about it, but to be active in giving advice back to the Flint Hills team. And they are very responsive to things that we ask for. And I'll give you one example of, this was a few years back, but the water recycling was a big issue, and it came up to try to use as much and reuse as much water within the plant as they could. And very recently, last year, there was an issue with the Minnesota Pollution Control removing an air monitor around the perimeter and not monitoring the data as much. But Flint Hills stepped up and said, we're just going to continue the very detailed monitoring of air quality at the fence line no matter what. So they do not have to do that. That's not a state requirement. And they do it anyway. And they do it also because we asked that they continue doing this to protect the community. So we hope that we can get the message out and we can get some more people involved from Rosemount. I think it's because there's not a lot of negative things that are happening, and that's a good thing, but that we want that to continue and we want the involvement from the community. But just because there's not anything happening doesn't mean that we have a committee, don't need a committee to keep that going. And for some reason, Rosemount has been underrepresented now for the 4 years that I've been involved, and I don't know why. And we seem to get a lot of people from Apple Valley and Egan and not from Rosemount, so we're hoping to change that by next year. Thank you.
The other challenge we kind of have is that for many of the jurisdictions around us, they're not involved in making regulatory decisions about the refinery. So if they have a planning commission member or a city council member who wants to serve, they can do that. There are some restrictions on, who serves on the CAC from Rosemount because you may be involved in land use decisions or regulatory matters. So that kind of narrows the scope. City council members and planning commission members are often the joiners who would be more inclined to join groups like this. So that's why we want to talk with you, because you're well connected. You know people in the community. You know people who might be interested in this organization, and we would love to get applications from them.
Yeah.
All right. Questions?
The last time I was out there, we went out there for the introduction of all the solar farms surrounding the Flint Hills. What is it, like 33% of it's powered through solar? Is that roughly the case?
It's at least that, I think. Yeah. It's an impressive number.
Yeah, that was just surprising. Were you guys involved in that, or your group at all? Did you help with that planning or suggestion, or?
That got started before I was part of the group.
Yeah, no, wasn't part of when I was there.
Okay.
I'm sure whoever was on the CAC had opinions about that and may in fact have either suggested it or certainly endorsed it.
Yeah.
I know when I have visitors come to town, I always send them out that way, and I just look at them all.
I mean, I guess that's something that I just found very impressive considering how big that facility is and just the amount of energy that it must take to maintain that. And from 33%, I just thought that number was pretty large. So getting that message out there too, I think we could do a better job of getting, all the good that is happening out there,
I think that's part of the reason that it's fun to serve on the group because, what I've learned, happily, is that the refinery does some very progressive environmental things. You wouldn't think offhand that a refinery would do these things, but it's important to them. Not only the solar panels and the water recycling, but the refinery owns a lot of undeveloped property across the Highway 52, and they get groups of employees together and CAC members and local volunteers and go out and cut buckthorn and reclaim that property. And they don't have to do that, but they do it, and it's admirable, I think. And we're not shilling for them, but I think it's the things they do are worth noting because they're important.
Good partners in the community.
Yep.
Yeah.
Other comments?
Nope.
I would just note that Flint Hills is a major revenue generator for our community. If I understand it right, it's over 10 to 12% of our revenue comes out of that space. They also take up an awful lot of space outside of their direct footprint that impacts us, but in the same way, they've also worked with us over the years. The athletic fields, Flint Hills athletic fields out that way, property that they've donated to our community. I know they're at the forefront of the SAF, the Sustainable Aviation Fuel. So been a really good partner in innovation, emerging technologies as well. Again, not shilling for them, but they are a good partner in our community. So I would strongly, anybody that even questions or wants to learn more, it's a great opportunity to find more out about that industry. And maybe you would then become shilling for them. But I have run into people that have served on this, the CAC, and we're just amazed because they came in with pretty negative attitude. And pretty soon they were singing the praises because they didn't realize just how engaged and involved they've been, certainly over the last 10 to 20 years with our community in a positive way.
Yeah, my experience with them is limited to the last 3 years, but I've never seen an instance where a CAC member has asked them a question that they've declined to answer. It's always complete information, very candid, and it's a good organization.
Yeah, and the one comment I would make is that with all the things that are going on in our communities with new industries coming in, this is a great example of a company that took the advice of the citizens to be very transparent with them. And it may be a lesson a lot of these other companies could learn. It avoids the negative reactions that sometimes aren't true, but sometimes are. And the level of transparency that they give us is, from Flint Hills, is pretty unique. Not seen in a lot of companies.
Anything else? Otherwise, thank you very much for the presentation and consider that accepted.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, just a reminder, if they're looking for an opportunity there, they can go to the website. I believe it's Flint Hills, what is it, FHR.com, I believe. Yeah, and you'll find the application process there.
We currently have 3 vacancies. We did have 1 application already, which was considered good quality candidates. We've got a minimum of 2 additional spots.
Great. Thank you. So that completes presentations and proclamations for this evening. We'll move on to item 4, response to public comment. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, members of the council. I think Mr. Egger had a quick response on one of the water comments we received at the last meeting, which was the only comment that we did have.
I did. Thanks, Logan. The question was brought up, or maybe a comment about providing notice each and every time that we would operate well number 8, which, as you know, is the one that we're working on a solution for with Gross Alpha. We took that question up with our partners at the Minnesota Department of Health to talk it through with them. And well number 8 remains an active part of the system. It's currently operated less frequently under the adjustments we've made to our operational matrix for our water supply. And their take on it was they felt that public notification each time the well would turn on is not really a practical measure to take due to the changing water demands that we could have day to day and seasonally. Additionally, they confirmed for staff that there's no regulatory requirement to get to that level of notification for each operational cycle of a well, only that we have to report on that matter quarterly, which we are doing and will continue to do through the newsletter. So I think that is all that I had on that item.
Just as a follow-up to that, residents should feel, based on MDH's direction and comments, the water is safe if we have to use it for intermittent uses like that. Again, brief timings and things, at least within the reporting mechanism that we have.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. That'll complete the responses to public comments. We'll move on to public comment, item 5. This evening, anyone wishing to come before council to address matters that are not on the meeting agenda may do so. Please state your name and address. Limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. And just be advised that we don't engage in a conversation with you at this time. It's just state your comment and concern, and staff or council will get back to you within before the next meeting. All right, so the podium's open. Anyone wishing to come forward may do so at this time. Anyone? Anyone? Seeing no one moving forward at this time, we'll close the public hearing and move on to the consent agenda. Items 6A through H. This evening we have bill listings, minutes of the May 5th regular and work session proceedings, the Dakota County Post-Election Review JPA, donation acceptance for the fire department in the amounts of $1,750 from the American Legion for 500 student education, the amending of the city code cannabis and hemp business regulations, declaration of surplus property for the public works department, a couple of large format printers, and the additional one that was added this evening, 6H, the police captain job description. Are there any items council would wish to pull for further comments or discussion?
No.
I'll pull F.
F. All right. We'll move the consent agenda items A through H with F removed for further discussion. Is there a second?
Second.
Have a motion and motion by Weisensell, second by Essler. Roll, please.
Essler.
Aye.
Klimple. Aye. Weisensell.
Aye.
Tyson.
Aye.
Bresky. Aye.
That approves 5-0. We will go and pull 6F for further discussion. Councilmember Essler.
Yeah, so I pulled this. I wanted to just have a quick conversation. I had a conversation earlier with Administrator Martin. I know we've currently got the ordinance that doesn't allow a cannabis location within 1,000 feet of a school. And then this proposal asks for doesn't allow it within 500 feet of a childcare center. And just I had asked the question, what's the difference between the 500 and 1,000? Why wouldn't we keep that similar? Why wouldn't we keep that the same 1,000? If we're gonna enact this, why wouldn't we keep it the same for both those types of?
And not to weigh in, I believe that's a state level indicator, correct? We cannot go 1,000 feet from a daycare according to the state statute, correct?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah, 500 is the state maximum for a daycare facility.
And that explains the difference.
Yeah.
So that's the answer.
Yep, that is the state. Yeah, we did. Yeah, I know, Councilman, we chatted about that briefly today, and I did confirm with City Clerk Fassbender on that, and that is the state statute that 500 is the max for daycare licensed childcare facilities. So that's what you're amending to do tonight, is to add cannabis dealerships to the 500 feet from the licensed daycare facilities, but then 1,000 feet still on a secondary or post-secondary educational institution.
Is there any other allowed by state regulations that we should be considering other than schools, daycare centers? Is there any other facilities that are on the list that we should be looking at?
I mean, certainly you could get more limited as well, just in terms of you could do residential daycare facilities, you could do adult daycare facilities, you could get more elaborate in that aspect. But again, I think that's something that's a little bit more hard to monitor from a licensing perspective.
Okay.
So I think just doing this specific daycare centers, not in home, is an appropriate way to go.
And I guess my question is if we looked at the state regulation and they said you can't limit to than more than 500 for daycare centers, if there was a list of other facility or other type of organizations that we should also be looking at, was there any other organizations that we're missing from our current ordinance that we're not? I mean, 'cause we're considering education, we're considering daycare centers, but is there other types of businesses that we should be considering as well?
I would say no at this point, just based upon kind of what the direction that we've received from the council already. I think the main thing that we want to be understanding of is that we can't not have cannabis retail
Yep.
within the city as well.
Yep.
So as we continue to limit more and more, we're going to be running out of allowed spaces for these potential
Sure.
rich.
Yep. And again, I was just kind of
potential to-
wondering
yeah.
if education and daycare is listed in the,
Yeah, those are the two main ones
Yeah.
that I would say at this point. But like I had said, you could get more restrictive in the definition of, say, what
Yep.
these establishments are.
okay. All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments for staff?
No.
All right, would you like to move the recommended action?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we adopt, the council adopts an amendment to ordinance title 3-11-9, establishing cannabis and hemp business regulations.
Second.
I have a motion by Essler, second by Klimpel. Roll, please.
Klimple,
Aye. Weisenthal.
Aye.
Tyson.
Aye.
Bresky.
Aye.
Essler.
Aye.
And that completes item 6F50 and all of the consent agenda. This evening, we have no public hearings or no unfinished business, and we're up to item 9, new business. And I'll move to Ms. Hogan.
Alrighty. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. So a little overview of this new business item tonight. Applicant is requesting the following approvals to construct a 250,000 square foot warehouse and distribution facility on a 15.5 acre portion of land that is currently a part of the Rich Valley First Edition development area. Those requests tonight are going to be a final plat, a rezoning of the site from A2 agricultural to B2 employment, and then also a conditional use permit. I did also want to mention that this item was at the Planning Commission meeting on their April 28, 2026 regular meeting, and they did approve a site plan review, which is only seen and approved by Planning Commission, and then they also did recommend approval of the rezoning and conditional use permit requests. Also did want to mention that with the change in the zoning code, final plats are only seen by City Council now, so that is also why that final plat did not go to Planning Commission. But I'll kind of go over an overview of portions of the site plan review and then also different components of the rezoning, final plat, and conditional use permit as well. So here is an outline of the proposed development project. So like I had mentioned, it is a 15.54 acre parcel that is located east of Highway 52 and north of County Road 42. Like I had mentioned, is part of that Rich Valley First Edition area. And a little overview of the final plat that's being requested tonight. Like I had mentioned, that this would create a buildable parcel, which you can see is Lot 1, Block 1 on the east side of this second edition plat. To the west of that new buildable lot, it would be an outlot, which would be reserved for future development down the road. Did also want to mention that that buildable lot is the only parcel being rezoned tonight. We are going to keep that, or the applicant requested that that outlot remain agricultural until a project comes forward to rezone that project.
Did the applicant buy both lots though? Sorry.
They are platting the whole area.
Okay. Thanks.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
A little overview of the rezoning. So you can see on the left-hand side that current land use designation is for BP Business Park, which was changed in 2021 by the City Council. So originally, prior to 2021, that area was guided for regional commercial. But then when the applicant came forward to rezone and plat the area to allow for that FedEx warehouse and distribution center to the north of this site, they did also go through the process of re-guiding that area to the south because there was an overall vision of the Ridge Valley area, which would be to be a business park area. So they did re-guide that, but did leave that A2 agricultural zoning district because, again, there was no project in front of the council at that time in 2021. So they did keep that zoning. But then now this applicant does have that project in front of you, and they are requesting that B2 zoning district as that is an allowed use for warehousing and distribution facilities. A little over the overview of the site plan that was approved. So the site plan does show that the 250 square foot warehouse and distribution facility is located centrally on the site. There will be a office area you can see in the southeast portion of the main building, but the remaining portion of the building will be for that warehouse use. You can kind of see on the site plan as well that there is an access point off of Driver Avenue that extends west into parking area for trucks, and then also employee parking to the south and southwest of the building as well. There are two access points off 143rd Street, which is north of the site, to that western end, which that will be the outdoor storage area, and that will give access to truck circulation in the outdoor storage area on the western portion of the site. Did also want to mention that this property and also the building itself does meet all the requirements of the B2 zoning district. And then also wanted to mention about the parking stalls on site. So the city code does require 1 stall per 2,000 square feet of gross floor area, which would require about 123 stalls on site. The applicant did update the site plan, which now actually includes 111 parking stalls, which is an increase of 9 stalls from the previous site plan that was submitted. There is still a shortfall, about 12 parking stalls, but the applicant did provide a proof of parking, which shows that additional parking can be added if that is required. A little overview of the landscape plan, as the applicant did submit an updated landscape plan as well, which was a condition of approval with the Planning Commission site plan review. So we did ask the applicant to just clarify the foundation planning linear square footage, as they did not originally include the outdoor storage portion of that. They did provide that with us, and they do exceed that minimum requirement. They are providing 400 linear feet of foundation plantings around the site, which exceeds that quite a bit, as that requirement would be 271 linear feet. They do meet the code requirement for trees throughout the site, which is 226 trees. You can see that it is kind of sparsed throughout the whole site. There's quite a bit of landscaping on the southern end, which blocks some of the view from County Road 42. There's also trees on the northern end, which is adjacent to 143rd Street, and then also additional plantings along Driver Avenue. Did also want to mention that that outdoor storage area will be fenced in by a 8-foot tall fence as well. Did also want to mention that the city's Park and Recreation Department did review the submitted plat of Ridge Valley Second Edition. They are recommending the city collect cash in lieu of park land development, and that cash dedication will be $132,090, which will be required when the building permit is pulled for this project. I also wanted to show a little bit of the architectural elevations. This was also updated and submitted by the applicant as well since the Planning Commission meeting. So you can see that the materials of the building are kind of a mixture of concrete panels, and that combination of gray, white, and blue exterior colors you can see in this image right here. The applicant did revise the color scheme, as the city's zoning code does limit non-earth tone to accent features and signage. So they did switch around some of the color schemes. You can see that blue color is more of an accent on the building as well. And then that main color is going to be an aesthetic white with other accents of gray as well. The building height does meet the maximum requirement. It is under 50 feet, which is that max of for the B2 zoning district, and it's showing that it will be 42 feet in height.
And then here is the floor plan, like I had mentioned. You can see a majority of the building will be for warehousing, but then there is different office space, training area, and restrooms in the southeast side located adjacent to the employee parking area. Also wanted to mention conditional use permit. So a conditional use permit is required due to outdoor storage being a conditional use within the B2 zoning district. All conditional use permits have to meet these 7 general conditions. And you can see in the staff report that staff did make findings for all 7 conditions, and staff did find that the applicant did provide that those 7 conditions would be met. There are also an additional 9 conditions associated with outdoor storage for the B2 zoning district, which in the staff report, staff were able to make those 9 findings, as well as the applicant was able to update requirements of the landscape plan, architectural standards, and other requirements that staff did not see that was being met originally. But now with the applicant's updated materials, we do find that the conditional use permit conditions are being met. There are 3 recommendations in front of the council today. I'll go through them. First is a motion to adopt a resolution approving the final plat for Rich Valley Second Edition, subject to conditions that are stated within the resolution. Motion to approve an ordinance amending the zoning map to rezone the site from A2 agricultural to B2 employment district. And then the last motion would be to adopt a resolution approving a conditional use permit for outdoor storage within the B2 zoning district, subject to the conditions that are also stated within the resolution. I can answer any questions that the council may have, but I do also know that the applicant's in the audience as well if you have additional questions for them.
Any questions for staff from council?
None here.
Okay, would the applicant like to come forward and share any thoughts?
Mr. Mayor, council members, Scoutman West Canal Properties, live in 9857 Aquila Road in Bloomington. I don't really have any comments other than we've made every attempt to follow rules, regulations, and codes and all that as best we could. And I think we've landed on all of them. And I think you're going to find good and a great addition to your community. They're going to bring some really good jobs. It's much more than just storage in there. They actually have a lot of cranes. They're one of the largest piping wholesalers in the Midwest. They have a very large facility in the industrial area just kind of north of downtown Minneapolis in the Broadway area, if that rings a bell. And they have a very significant facility up in the Big Lake area, and this will be their 3rd in the Twin City metro area. So they're growing and expanding, and they're a first-class operation. I think they'll be a great addition to your community and bring good jobs. And, you know, they don't bite, bark, or smell. You know, they're just there doing their thing inside the building. So there won't be any issues with neighbors or anything there either. Their trucking is, you know, there's some trucking that'll go in and out there, but nothing compared to FedEx or anybody else. So they'll create minimal activity in the neighborhood as well, and they'll get on 52 and go about their business. So should be good that way too.
Can you share the anticipated schedule?
Yeah, we're going to break ground in late June, and it'll be about a 10-month construction schedule, and then they'll have quite a bit of setup to do. As I mentioned, they've got some very significant crane work to do in there, amongst other things. So they'll probably be operational sometime fourth quarter next year.
Okay. Any other questions or comments from staff? Or I mean, from council?
Nope.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any further questions for staff? Otherwise, anyone like to move the recommended actions?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution approving the final plat for the Rich Valley Second Edition, subject to conditions.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Tyson, second by Fresky. Roll.
Weisenthal,
Aye.
Tyson,
Aye.
Fresky,
Aye.
Essler,
Aye.
Klimpel,
Aye.
And motion 1 is passed 5-0. Motion number 2.
I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance amending the zoning map to rezone the site from A2 agricultural to B2 employment district.
Second.
I got a motion by Fresky, second by Klimpel. Roll.
Tyson,
Aye.
Fresky,
Aye.
Essler,
Aye.
Klimpel, Weisenthal,
Aye. Motion 2 passes 5-0. And the third motion.
I'll make a motion to adopt a resolution approving a conditional use permit for outdoor storage in the B2 Employment Zoning District, subject to conditions.
Second.
Got a motion by Essler, second by Tyson. Roll, please.
Frisky.
Aye.
Essler.
Aye.
Klimple.
Aye.
Weisenthal.
Aye.
Tyson.
Aye.
That also passes 5-0. Completes item number 9A, new business. Thank you. We'll move on to 10 under announcements, city staff updates. Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple items tonight to flag. One is that you'll see we've got a new audio system in the council chambers. Hopefully, folks are having a better user experience both here in the chambers and then at home, allowing each of us to unmute as we have those moments. So apologize if any of us forget to mute or unmute, but a technological upgrade. We appreciate our partners at the Cable Commission for helping us through that and guiding us through that. But I think it sounds great in here already. You can tell a major difference, so we appreciate that. I just wanted to flag one item off the consent agenda. Council, appreciate the approval on the captain positions there. Just wanted to shine a light on that. That's a really nice staffing org chart amendment inside of our police department that Chief Thomas has led us through to basically replace the deputy chief position with 2 captain positions, and captain will oversee administration and another captain will oversee our operations division. So you won't see a deputy chief get refilled behind Chief Thomas. Instead, we'll have those 2 captains, again giving further leadership opportunities inside the PD and then future growth opportunities, and we'll look forward to folks that may apply for those 2 captain positions. So thanks for the support on that, and the only other thing to flag was going to be the Memorial Day event that the mayor will flag, and we look forward to that. So with that, I can turn it back to you.
All right, thank you. So first item is City Hall will be closed on Memorial Day, May 25th, Monday all day. However, at 11 o'clock in Central Park, there will be a Memorial Day celebration. That'll be held with the local American Legion and veterans. Look forward to having a good turnout, and hopefully it shouldn't rain. Forecast is maybe it will, so I'm counting on it won't. The Planning Commission meeting for May 26th on Tuesday from 6:30 to 7:30 here at City Hall. The next City Council meeting, work session will be at 5 to 7 at City Hall here, and followed by the City Council meeting 7 to 8. And with that, that'll complete our announcements for this evening. Any other business to come before council? Any comments? Alrighty. With that, I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you. Good night, Rosemount.